Getting kicked out. After I got kicked out by a wealthy family, all I was left with was $10. A fortune teller on the street stopped me. He insisted on giving me a reading. I was broke. "Young lady, I won't charge you," he said. Thinking anything free was a gain, I sat down. He examined my face and carefully observed the lines on my palms, then looked excited. "Young lady, you have a destiny of great wealth and fortune." I couldn't help but laugh. If he had said that 6 months ago, I might have believed him. Back then, I was living large, everyone's darling. But when the biological daughter of my adoptive parents came back, I turned from prize to pariah. Even talking to me was seen as bad luck. I said, "Dude, you look about 40. Maybe it's time to find a real job. Fortune telling isn't your thing. You're not reading people right. I'm broke and you call that great fortune?" The guy looked doubtful. "This fortune-telling book is a family heirloom. They say it was used for emperors." I pitied him and left my last $10, hoping he would see a psychiatrist. Poor fool. Half an hour later, a black stretch limo stopped beside me. The car emblem had wings, definitely not cheap. A tough guy in a black suit and sunglasses, looking like a gangster, blocked my way. Seeing this big guy, I shivered. He thought I was nodding in agreement, then grabbed my collar and tossed me into the car like I was a rag doll. Terrified, I clung to the door, refusing to get in. This is a society of law. Kidnapping a good girl like me is illegal. I shouted just before being pushed inside. Instead of hitting the floor, I rolled into the warmth of someone's arms. Boldly, I felt around. It was a person. I slowly opened my eyes, meeting a pair of strikingly handsome eyes that belonged to a guy with features like a movie star. While racking my brain to remember if I knew him, I heard a magnetic voice above me. "Carrie," he said. "It's me." "And you are?" I asked. He narrowed his eyes slightly and said, "Could you get off me first?" Realizing my hands were around his waist and my butt was on his lap, I blushed. Sorry. I apologized and quickly climbed off, giving his leg a quick massage. The man's expression changed as he brushed my hands away, politely thanked me. I asked, "May I know your name and why you're looking for me?" Straightforwardly, he replied, "I'm Nolan. I want to ask if Miss Carrie would be my fiancé." I thought he was joking. "Dude, don't mess with me." Nolan looked serious. "I'm not joking." Skeptical, I pulled out my phone and Googled Nolan. He was some billionaire, and his pictures matched the guy in front of me. In person, he was even more handsome. "Nolan, you're not very photogenic, huh?" He said, "Miss Carrie, perhaps you should consider my offer." Still not quite believing it, I asked, "You're really Nolan? Not fooling me?" "Scout's honor," he responded. "Miss Carrie, given your current situation, I don't really have anything to gain from fooling you." Ouch. That stung, but it's not a lie. I sheepishly scratched my nose. Scam. Maybe for my looks. Why me as your fiancé? There are plenty of better matches like rich heiresses or real estate moguls' daughters, I asked. Nolan looked earnest. "Because your fortune complements mine. I had it checked. You bring me luck." I was speechless. Nolan, young and successful, yet so superstitious? I imagined what the media would say. Snap, his hand waved in front of me. "Miss Carrie, what do you think?" I asked incredulously. "Are you serious?" Nolan showed me his ID and company shares for real. "How about that for sincerity?" he asked, showing his bank balance. I whispered, "After we marry, can I spend this?" Nolan smiled slyly, "They're joint assets. Spend away. Before marriage too, if you like. Say no more, I'm in." I occasionally thought the fortune teller wasn't entirely a fool. Leaving the registry, I looked at my marriage certificate and felt at ease. Great. From now on, every dollar Nolan makes is joint property. Even if he kicks me out, I won't leave empty-handed. Nolan handed me a bank card and 2 property titles as we got in the car. "The house is yours. I'll put $1 million in this card monthly for your spending," he said. "More if needed. Now that's care. Forget sweet words, show me the money." With genuine appreciation, I said, "Mr. Nolan, I'll pray for you daily." Nolan replied seriously, "No need. I'm not that superstitious." "Yeah, right." He dropped me at my new place. As the elevator doors opened at the top floor, I couldn't help but grin. I wasn't sure if I brought Nolan luck, but he certainly was mine. What if I don't bring him luck? That thought chilled me. No more street life for me. I called Nolan Mr. Nolan, I can't just sit around. How about I work at your company? We'd see each other, and maybe boost your luck. Nolan actually pondered my suggestion. Alright, he agreed. Thus, I became not only Nolan's wife but his secretary too. So I can always keep an eye on how he feels about me, instead of getting kicked out suddenly without any preparation. I've got to make some money now, just in case. The next day, I put on a business suit and headed to Nolan's company. Before Nolan went to his meeting, he gave me the once-over from head to toe, and said not bad. I need to work on keeping up my lucky persona. After all, it could fall apart easily. After more than 2 hours, Nolan returned from his meeting. I immediately brought him some coffee. He looked really stressed. I gulped and, pretending to be concerned, asked if there was a problem. Nolan gave me a glance and said they were vying for a project. The competition was well prepared. Who's the competition? I asked. Nolan said Michael. No way. That's the guy who kicked me out of the last company. Can you show me the proposal? Nolan paused, then handed it over. I flipped through a few pages before handing it back, seriously saying, Michael's weak point is chips. Focus on that, and you'll have an inch. Nolan looked skeptical. But I heard Michael's upgraded their chips, he said. I chuckled. Anyone can talk big. Trust me. Just enhance your chip presentation. It'll be obvious who's better. Nolan silently stared at me, then immediately called the director of the RD department right in front of me. With my hands behind my back, I straightened up. Well, I'll get back to work then, I said, striding out, trying to leave a confident impression. Once outside, I clasped my hands together, praying, Dear Lord, please let me hold on to this lucky persona. 3 nights later, I was soaking in the tub at my new place when I got a call from Nolan. I'm at your door, he said. I rushed out of the bath, threw on a robe, and opened the door. Can't slack off with the boss. I put on my best face and invited Nolan in. His ears turned red, and he quickly looked away. Nolan, I said. He cleared his throat, his voice a bit raspy. You might want to fix your robe first. I looked down and realized I hadn't tied the belt. Oops. I took a deep breath, tied the robe, composed myself and smiled. Please come in, Nolan. He hesitated for a moment, then entered. As I went to the kitchen to get drinks, I composed myself, doing some mental prep before carrying out the tray. Nolan, it's late, why were you here? I asked as he sat with his water. The project's ours, he said seriously. You did well. There'll be a year-end bonus for you. My persona's holding up. Even though he got a bit of a peek earlier, I managed to keep it together. Nolan talked a lot about work. I started getting sleepy, yawning repeatedly. He glanced at his watch. It was past 10. You should get to bed. Finally, he's leaving. I stood up straight. Nolan, it's late. Why don't you stay the night? I offered, thinking he wouldn't actually stay. But then Nolan turned and smirked. Sure. It felt like a slap to the face. His beautiful eyes had a glimmer of amusement. Aren't we married? He asked. I nodded, swallowing hard. Yes, married. Nolan seemed familiar with the place, heading straight to the guest room upstairs. Good night, Nolan. I called after him, heading to my own room pretty pleased. A husband like Nolan is a dream come true, rich, easygoing, and not controlling in the slightest. I even dreamed I was swimming in a sea of pink dollar bills, feeling totally secure. In the morning, looking in the mirror, I thought, yep, I look great, definitely a sign of good fortune. To my surprise, Nolan was making breakfast in the kitchen. My heart nearly skipped a beat at the sight. Why is he cooking himself? I wondered. Nolan placed 2 dishes on the island. He seemed well rested, looking almost ethereal. Let's eat. Hope you like it, he said with a smile that was miles away from our first meeting's seriousness. I relaxed, sitting down. I do very much. I'm not a picky eater, and Nolan can really cook, which was unexpected. Just looking at it made me hungry. Sitting beside me quietly, every move he made was graceful. I found it hard not to keep glancing at him. Suddenly he turned his head, catching my looks. What's on your mind? He asked with a slight smile. My cheeks warmed up. Nolan, don't we seem like a real couple? He laughed. Aren't we? True, with the marriage papers, we are genuinely a couple. I felt warm inside. We better hurry, need to head to the office. After breakfast, Nolan asked if I wanted to join him. No thanks. I'll manage on my own. I wasn't ready to make our status public yet. If word got out Nolan married me for luck, my old fake friends would just mock me. Being a good luck charm is better. You can take any car in the garage's basement. Nolan pointed towards the cabinet by the door. Which one? I asked. Any of them. Being rich is awesome. Alright then, I won't hold back. Nolan left shortly after, and the doorbell rang again. When I opened it, a series of clothes racks were rolled in, filled with clothes I love, plus shoes, bags, and jewelry. A slightly chubby middle-aged woman greeted me with a smile. Ma'am, I'm your housekeeper. You can call me Candy. Candy, I stood aside, couldn't help but ask, did my husband send all these? Candy replied with a smile, yes. All the new items from major brands are being delivered. They'll be arriving soon. Okay, I tried to act calm, but inside I was freaking out. I've got to lay it out straight. Whether or not I'm Nolan's lucky charm, he's definitely my sugar daddy. After washing up and getting dressed, it was time to head to work. I opened a drawer and was dazzled by all the car keys inside. I just picked one at random and headed to the elevator. The elevator stopped at level B2. As it opened, my goodness, is this a parking lot or a car museum? I pressed a button on the key fob, and a reddish-brown car beeped at me. I immediately took a picture and looked it up online. Talk about a shocker, it's an Aston Martin 177. According to the info, there were only 5 of this model allotted in the country back then. So basically, I'm driving one of the 5, a car costing nearly $70 million. Nolan just wants me to casually drive it around. Wow. I was amazed, ran my hand over the body of the car, and finally got into the driver's seat. Sitting there, I could feel the excitement build up. I took a deep breath, trying to remain composed on the outside, but my heart was ready to explode. I need to hold on to Nolan tightly. I carefully drove forward and stopped at a red light. Just then, bam, a car crashed into me from behind. Darn. I pushed the door open and got out. Before I could even ask the driver what they were doing, wait, isn't that Lucy? The real rich girl of the family. Seeing it was me, Lucy's frightened face suddenly twisted into a disdainful smirk. She strutted over arrogantly, oh, it's you. Where do you get this crappy car? If you can't drive, take the bus. Being a menace on the road is a lightning strike waiting to happen. Do you even know how much my car is worth? Can you afford to pay? I couldn't help but laugh. You're the one who rear-ended me, lady. If anyone's paying, it's you. Alright, go ahead and call your insurance then. Hearing this, Lucy hesitated. Insurance company? I have a bad feeling. Don't tell me you don't have insurance on this car. A hint of embarrassment flashed across Lucy's face, but the very next second, she regained her high horse. As if I'd be petty enough to need insurance. Do you think I care about your pocket change? How much is your crappy car anyways? I'll pay for it. Well, if she insists on paying and she's got the money, what else can I say? I made a call, dialing up Nolan, and hesitated before explaining the situation. These must be Nolan's cherished cars. He must hate me now, I thought. But secretly, I hoped this incident might save my neck. Nolan's worried voice came through. Where are you now? Are you okay? Was he actually concerned about me? I'm fine, completely fine. Nolan seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. As long as you're okay, just go through insurance for the car. Nolan's tone was so casual, as if he didn't care about the car at all. But the other party doesn't have insurance. Then call the police. At the police station, Lucy was sobbing on the phone to her mom, saying all kinds of bad things about me. After hanging up, she proudly told me my mom's on her way, just you wait. Even the traffic cop couldn't hold back. But you hit her car first. How can you not let her report it? Why are you complaining? Do you know who you're talking to? I'm the daughter of the family. One word from me and you'll lose your job. Lucy boasted arrogantly. The traffic cop blushed, looking genuinely intimidated. I patted his shoulder. It's okay, she doesn't have that kind of pull. Lucy sneered, Carrie, you may have been kicked out of the family, but you know how powerful we are, right? I glared back coldly. Mike and Wendy really drew the short straw with this so-called real daughter. But this was their family business, not mine to meddle in. Soon a man in a black suit, carrying a briefcase, walked in. He headed straight to me and said, Miss, sorry I'm late. Let me handle this. I figured he must be a lawyer sent by Nolan. My heart warmed and I nodded. After a bit, Wendy arrived too. As soon as she entered, she hugged Lucy tight. Baby, are you okay? You scared me to death. Then she shot me a fierce look. She let go of Lucy and stormed over, raising her hand to slap me. I frowned, surprised she'd try to hit me. I dodged, but her fingertips still brushed my cheek, stinging a bit. But maybe that's for the best. Now I owe nothing to the family. They've beaten away whatever little obligation I felt towards them. They adopted me because they lost their child, and I was just a stand-in, never truly loved or treated well. Now that Lucy's back, they toss me out without a second thought. Is that called kindness? Ma'am, please calm down. I stopped Mike's lawyer. It's okay. Let's just settle the car situation first. Wendy looked at me contemptuously. You hired a lawyer? You sure this lawyer ain't short-sighted? Working for someone who might not even afford his fees? The lawyer kept it professional. Here are two options. Either you buy the car, or cover the repair costs and any depreciation caused by the accident. Wendy laughed dismissively. Fine, how much? The lawyer handed a paper to Wendy. She looked at it, and her eyes widened in shock. 70 million? This is daylight robbery. The lawyer just smiled. Ma'am, this car holds great value. You're welcome to look up its details online. We're not asking for a penny more than it's worth. Our miss wouldn't stoop to covet your money. Wendy stared at me in disbelief. This can't be. Carrie, where on earth did you steal this car from? I lifted my chin slightly. Mind your words. I could sue you for defamation. This can't be. Wendy wasn't buying it. Either pay up, or prepare to receive a court summons. I managed a polite smile. Lucy, you better talk to your mom. You don't want to get a reputation as a debt dodger, right? Lucy got anxious right away and grabbed Wendy's hand tightly. Mom, you have to help me. I don't want to be a debt dodger. It'll ruin everything. It's just 70 million. We have plenty of money. Wendy just got back and already caused this mess. She didn't even think twice about the 70 million. Like the money doesn't even matter. The family may be rich, but at this rate, they'll go broke eventually. I left with my lawyer, and there was a sleek black Maybach parked at the front. My lawyer gestured for me to get in. When I opened the door, I realized Nolan was inside. I froze, unsure of whether to get in or stay out. Mr. Nolan, I said. Nolan leaned forward. Are you hurt? No. I hurried inside and shut the door, feeling a bit awkward facing Nolan after everything. Mr. Nolan, about the car. You're okay, that's all that matters, Nolan said. Clearly worried, he asked again, really, you're not hurt? I shook my head, feeling a bit sweet inside. This car is a collector's beauty, and just after a short drive I wrecked it. He wasn't even annoyed with me. Rather, he was concerned. Maybe I'm not actually unlucky for him after all. Let's get you home, Nolan instructed the driver. He walked me in before leaving, and just before he went he said, don't worry about this. Leave it to the lawyer. Get some good rest, and call me if you need anything. He said that and left in the elevator. Suddenly, I didn't want him to go. What was up with me? Ma'am. Candy approached me with a cheerful smile. The wardrobe is all set. I went to check. The massive closet was filled with my stuff, looking like something out of a department store. But still, do I deserve Nolan being so good to me? For now, I guess I just got lucky, landing him that one project. Right as I was lost in thought, my phone rang. I instinctively picked it up. It was Mike loudly accusing Carrie. Who have you hooked up with? You're so young, and you've already gone down this path. Is this what I taught you? I couldn't help but chuckle. What did you ever teach me? All these years, you barely spoke to me, and you dare say you taught me? You're just an unwanted stray. I brought you home, let you live like a princess, and this is how you talk to me. Ungrateful. Mike was seething. I'm not some little pet, I said. You can't just call me when you need, and throw me away when you don't. Stop pretending like you're doing me some big favor. You know exactly why you adopted me and why you kicked me out. Playing games and expecting gratitude? Never met such shameless people. I hung up fuming, my chest heaving. They treated me like a pet, petting me when pleased and scolding when not. I'm supposed to be thankful? Back in my room, I lay on the bed stewing. I dozed off, and when I woke, it was past 3 p.m. I sat there, gazing out the window, feeling a deep loneliness creeping in. I heard voices outside, so I went to open the door. A muscular figure appeared out of nowhere. Nolan. Nolan was standing there, only a towel wrapped around his waist. My eyes widened, taking him in from head to toe. They finally rested on the towel around his waist. I drew in a sharp breath and turned away. Wow. Those mythical 8-pack abs were right in front of me. Nolan ended his call and came over. Did I wake you? I bit my lip, swallowed hard, and shook my head. Carrie, are you feeling unwell? Nolan's deep voice was full of concern. I nodded. Where does it hurt? He stepped closer, brushing my forehead with his hand. It felt like a jolt of electricity, making my heart skip. Mr. Nolan, you have a great body. I snapped back to reality, realizing what I'd just blurted out. Nolan chuckled softly. Just came home and took a shower. He asked again, where's the discomfort? I'm not unwell, just heart's a little fluttered, I said, retreating to my room to cool off. I grabbed a book, reading until it was dinner time. At the table, Nolan sat next to me. I turned and glanced at him, the perfect blend of looks and physique. Until he suddenly turned to me. What's up with you? Are you going to stay here? I quickly scrambled for a topic. Nolan smiled slightly. Were you scared from the car crash this morning? I'll stay for a few days just to be sure. He paused, his gaze deepening, almost hypnotic. Would that be a problem? I shook my head, a bit dazed. No, not at all. Nolan leaned in slightly, laughter in his voice. What were you saying? My mind was blank. Did I just become this way because Nolan was too good looking? Those looks, that body, that height and presence. It's messing with me. The primal power inside me is hard to suppress. When I'm lying in bed, I close my eyes, and Nolan pops into my mind. Just thinking about Nolan still being out there makes it even harder to sleep. 3 days later, as soon as I get to the office, Nolan calls me into his office. Have you seen the news? I shake my head. He motions for me to come over and shows me his computer. Turns out Lucy and I made the news. From the day of the fender bender incident, Lucy's arrogant attitude got posted online, and suddenly our identities became the hot topic of discussion. The headline was eye-catching, the showdown of the real and fake heiresses. Below it were comments. Heiress causes big trouble soon as she's back. Look at her acting all smug. Carrie is so pitiful. When the real heiress returned, she got kicked out. How unfair. Nolan closes the webpage. Does it bother you? I chuckle. It doesn't. I'm fine now. So I don't care what they say. Because of this, recently their company's stock prices have been dropping. Clients who were planning to collaborate with them have switched over to us. Wow, is that for real? Nolan gives a faint smile. So you really bring me good luck. He slowly stands up, looks down at me. What do you want? I can give you a reward. That face is just too charming. So I blurt out. You. Nolan edges closer, his voice husky. You planning on taking me? Of course, is that okay? I take a deep breath, my face burning. But his face is like magic. Knock, knock, knock. I didn't get Nolan's answer. The knocking interrupts us. Who is it? Way to ruin the moment. I quickly step back, my cheeks burning because of that. I'll head out now. In comes Nolan's assistant. I hear him telling Nolan, Michael's interested in collaborating with the company. I freeze, turning to look at Nolan. Would he really collaborate with Michael? Unexpectedly, Nolan's face turns cold. His lips move slightly, speaking coldly. Do you still want a bonus? The assistant quietly exits, closing the door. What's Michael thinking? He's the biggest competitor. Why suddenly want to collaborate? But if Michael is proactively looking to collaborate, isn't that a good thing for Nolan's company? Why reject so quickly? Just as I'm thinking about it, suddenly my phone rings. It's Wendy calling. She wants to meet up. I agree. Maybe she's finally planning to pay me back. In a nearby cafe, Wendy and Lucy sit across from me. What is it? Spill it, I have work to do. Wendy speaks up. You're working at Nolan's company now? Yeah, so what? See, I told you that car wasn't his. He borrowed a company car. Lucy's loud voice draws attention. Wendy frowns, gently reminding her. How many times have I told you? Keep your voice down in public. Lucy whines, clinging to Wendy's arm. Mom, that car isn't even hers. I let out a chuckle. Miss Lucy, if it's not my car, you don't have to compensate me. Wendy purses her lips. her expression smug. So how much do you want? What do you mean? I'll give you $1 million. That's quite a sum, enough for a lifetime. But first, you must clarify the accident online. You're at fault. Wendy's tone makes it seem like that $1 million is a gift to me. Am I that easy to dismiss? Keep that money for your retirement. Anything else? Wendy narrows her eyes, tapping the table. Then how much do you want? I don't want money. We'll settle it normally. Keep your money for PR. And maybe hire a teacher to better educate your darling daughter. And stop calling me. With that, I get up and leave, hearing Lucy's furious voice behind. Mom, look at her. She's such a jerk. I'm gonna. Shut up. Wendy's low growl interrupts. She probably realizes Lucy's embarrassing her. Leaving the cafe, I head back to work. Before the end of the day, I get a message from Nolan on Instagram. Wanna head home together? Biting my lip. I can't stop the smile creeping onto my face. Sure. Every time I think of Nolan, my mood instantly brightens. After work, I find Nolan's car in the parking lot and hop in. Thankfully no one saw. I let out a small sigh of relief. Nolan's voice breaks the silence. Why don't you want people to see? I pause for a moment. Yeah, why don't I? I can't come up with an answer. Maybe it's because I'm scared of losing my reputation as a lucky charm. Nolan doesn't press further. Once home, he hands me an invitation and a catalog. An auction? I'm a bit surprised. Why give this to me? So you won't be bored coming to the company every day. Nolan sits beside me. Interested? I flick through the catalog. Can I bid on anything? Of course. I quickly open the catalog. There should be some treasures worth collecting here. Nolan leans in slightly. As long as you like it, that's enough. Don't worry about its value. The scent of Nolan lingers around my nose. The scent coming off him was just so nice. It had me feeling all sorts of ways. I'm just saying, if our relationship leveled up, would my good vibes rub off on him even more? I slightly tilted my head, catching a glimpse of Nolan's face out of the corner of my eye. That chiseled profile, the high nose, perfectly defined lips. Stop it, Carrie. You want money or the guy? Money for sure. The day of the auction, I went by myself. Lucy was there with her mom, and my so-called friends from before were all hanging around Lucy now. I didn't really mind though. People naturally gravitate towards what's beneficial for them. Especially these fair-weather friends. They're all about connections and benefits. But of course they had to walk over to me. Well, if it isn't Carrie, what are you doing here? The snobbery was unbelievable. Carrie, is that dress of yours bought for like $50? And that necklace looks fake as hell. How do you dare even wear it out? Lucy and her crew chuckled at me. Carrie, how'd you sneak in? Must have auditioned as a server, then changed in the restroom, right? I snickered, snapping back. You seem to know a lot about that. Done it before, huh? Lucy was caught off guard, her face twisted. Lucy's from a real wealthy family. She doesn't need to sneak in. A friend rushed to her defense. Oh, Lucy, I said, feigning innocence. Did you ever repay that $7 million? A true heiress wouldn't care about such an amount, right? You don't want to end up on a debtor's list, do ya? Lucy turned pale, stomping her foot in rage. Shut up. The outburst caught everyone's attention. Embarrassed, other socialites advised her to quiet down. Be quiet, seriously, Lucy fumed, pointing at me in a fit. Get her out of here. How is she even close to a heiress? Just look at her, acting all trashy. But anyway, this is an auction, not Lucy's house. I had an invitation, so security ignored her. It was Wendy who eventually escorted Lucy away, as the other socialites left in disdain. As the auction began, I took my seat and lo and behold, Lucy and Wendy plopped down next to me. Done with your scene. I teased at Wendy, told you she needed a tutor. More embarrassment awaits if she doesn't. Be quiet, Lucy snapped in a low voice. This is an auction. Money talks. Such a tacky mentality. Welcome to today's auction. Our first item up for bids is, the auctioneer's voice rang out. Lucy shot me a smug glance. And before he could finish, she raised her paddle. Wendy tried stopping her. Get a good look before bidding. I raised my paddle immediately too. Lucy followed suit. And after a bidding war, a vase starting at $10,000 soared to $350K thanks to her. She gleefully turned to me. Go on, bid again. Out of cash. I just smiled. It's all yours. Lucy huffed, "Mom, I got this vase." Wendy was visibly furious, and I barely held in my laughter. Lucy splurged more because of me, and if Wendy hadn't taken her paddle, I'd have kept it going. "Mom, what are you doing? Give it back," Lucy screeched, oblivious to the glares our way. Wendy angrily whispered, "Keep quiet." Finally, Lucy calmed down ever so slightly. The next piece was from a new artist, starting at $5,000. I loved the plum blossom painting and quickly bid on it. No one else went for it, so I won it for $5,000. "Only $5,000? That's what you're bidding on?" Embarrassing, Lucy mocked. "Value isn't about price," I said, leaning in. "Just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's good. That's a rookie mistake." She scowled, glaring daggers at me. Through the auction, I only bought the Chinese painting because I liked it. I took it home to show Nolan. He admired it. "This painting is really well done. If you love it, hang it up." Great minds think alike. I mounted it on my wall, enjoying it daily. But who knew? Just 3 days later, Nolan informed me one of the new artist's paintings just sold for $50 million in Europe. All his works are appreciating in value now. Someone overseas is offering $100 million for yours. Swallowing a gulp, I could only reply, "Looks like I'm definitely bringing you some luck, Nolan." He leaned in close. "So, what do you want?" Another one of those questions. I gazed at him, holding my composure, taking a deep breath. I teased, not finishing, then grinned and said, "Not telling you." I quickly retreated to my room, fearing any longer around Nolan would break my sanity. He's too dang charming. Since then, I've been the talk of the town. I've had several interviews, all asking how it feels to buy a piece worth millions for $5,000. I'm practically the expert collector now. Folks even want to invest in me, invite me to major auctions as a treasure hunter. Put plainly, they want me to find bargains. But Nolan advised against it. "Why?" I asked, confused. "It's a chance to make money." "Do you need money?" Nolan locked eyes with me, dragging out his words, "You're my wife, not theirs." He's got a point. My good fortune was peaking. Later, I realized I wasn't just bringing luck to Nolan. Ever since I left the Carey family, Michael hasn't been able to do anything right. The year's almost up, and his company's performance is barely a third of their goal. The Michael family has been at the top for ages, taking pride in their lineage, looking down on self-made billionaires like Nolan. But in just half a year, reality gave them a harsh lesson. Whenever there's a chance, they'd try to cozy up to Nolan. They even suggested collaborations more than once. Then one day Nolan told me he received an invitation from Carey's family. They want him to attend a party. "Are you going?" I asked. Nolan chuckled softly. "I was about to ask you the same." "You're going, of course." I'm eager to see what happens to Carey's family now. Nolan handed me the invite. The dresses he ordered for me had started arriving one by one. I chose a red one, perfect for the party. The party was at Carey's family estate. I've been there a few times before. Before, they didn't like taking me to these events. But not bringing me could spark gossip. So I got to see a lot of things firsthand. With the invite, I got in easily. 6 months ago, I bought a painting worth $1 billion for just $5,000. Everyone started talking to me. Sure enough, the Carey family soon noticed. Candy had not improved one bit in these 6 months. Seeing me surrounded, jealousy was all over her face. She grabbed my arm and dragged me to the door. "Get out!" she screamed. Now I have a new understanding of the word disgrace. Candy was a perfect example. Standing blocking the door, sneering, she said, "Who let you in? How dare you come here? I'm the real heiress." I invited her. A deep voice suddenly spoke up. A tall figure appeared by my side. I looked up into Nolan's deep eyes. His hand landed gently on my waist, supporting me as he led me inside. Candy just stood there, dumbfounded. Beside Nolan, my heart started pounding. Aware of my nerves, Nolan's hand lightly patted my waist. I took a deep breath and gave him a small smile. I had a guess about his plan. Sure enough, he spoke the next second. "Let's all meet my wife, Carey." Like a bomb going off underwater. "No way," Candy shouted, running over. "Nolan, I'm supposed to be your future wife. My dad said we're to marry, bring our families together." Nolan just snorted, not even glancing at her. In the end, It was Mike and Wendy who dragged Candy away. Get her back inside and keep an eye on her. Candy was dragged off, yet her shouting lingered in the hall. Carrie's family tried to network, but Candy's actions ruined their reputation entirely. The party finally ended. Nolan and I were held back. So you married Nolan? Mike grinned like he never abandoned me. He then looked at Nolan full of flattery. I've always adored Carrie. At 8, I chose her from the orphanage. She had nothing, and I gave her a home. Mr. Mike, Nolan interrupted. Carrie isn't without anything now. She has a home. I am her husband. Her matters are now my concern. No need for Mr. Mike to worry anymore. As for a partnership, Nolan chuckled, looking down at me with warmth in his eyes. I think we'll pass. I won't do anything my wife dislikes. Would you really abandon us? Do you really consider yourselves my parents? I took a deep breath. You used me as a tool for your connections. After finding your real daughter, you left me with nothing. And now you call yourselves my parents? Their faces turned pale, trying to argue, but I wasn't listening. I took Nolan's hand and left. In the car, Nolan held my hand firmly. They don't deserve you, Carrie. I'll give you a home from now on. That day brought us even closer. We started feeling more like real partners. And much like he said, I truly brought him luck. A year later, I met that fortune teller again. Excitedly, I grabbed his hand. What are you doing? Being a creep? It's me. I pointed at my face. Remember me? A year ago, you said I had a great fate. I even gave you $10. The fortune teller looked closely, suddenly remembering. It's you. You and Mr. Nolan are doing great, right? Mr. Nolan is wonderful. He paid me $1,000 to tell you those things. I barely heard anything else. Nolan had set it all up, right from the start. He paid $1,000 to have this guy tell me I was his lucky charm. I once thought Nolan was gentle and kind. Turns out he's cunning, a schemer. Although I do bring him luck. I went to find him, demanding why. He looked helpless but explained sincerely. When I was 18, I met you. I was working part-time at Mike's party, serving tables. Mike was upset, and I happened to be his punching bag. He accused me of being a lousy waiter. I was quite upset then, facing the real world for the first time. But you comforted me. I recalled that time too. I was young, attending parties with my parents. Behind the scenes, I'd vent my frustrations. It was Mike not sealing a deal that day in a foul mood. Not just me, the servers got an earful too. I remember the small, skinny server hiding in a corner. Noticing his distress, I offered him a candy. So that was Nolan. Nolan chuckled softly. I'm not the chasing type. So you like me back then? I asked him, seeing Nolan looked a little embarrassed. Yeah. After graduating college, I dove headfirst into work. Career was on the rise. Michael and I were rivals, so I couldn't get close to you. He pulled me into his arms. But you really changed my life. Ever since I met you, it turned around. I'm not wrong, am I? Nolan started from scratch. Being with him, I know he comes from an ordinary family. But everything he has now, he earned with his hands and brains. I smiled and nodded. That's true. He asked me again. So what about the future? How are you going to keep changing my life? I thought for a second. Wish you and your wife a long, blissful marriage. Lots of kids, lots of happiness. Sound good? Without a word, Nolan picked me up. I was startled. What are you doing? Nolan said. Making it happen. In hindsight, I should have just said lots of happiness. The end.